There's a large percentage of people that are listening to this right now that are living their life doing something for a living that they don't want to do, and it's not enjoyable and it's burdensome. Well, that's 8 hours a day plus commuting. That is most of your day. So most of your day is spent in an undesirable way. So because of that, it leaves very little time to course correct.
Yes.
And the more you develop responsibilities, whether it's a family that you have to support, or whether it's a mortgage you have to pay off, or a car loan, or whatever it is, the more of those things you accumulate, the more difficult it is to course correct. And that's very, very important for people to understand, is that the further you go down this path, like you might have this job and it might suck, but then the boss pulls you into the office and goes, hey, Mike, we're going to give you a new responsibility, a new raise, but we're going to require more hours. You know, it's a 10% bump in pay, but I want you to understand that, you know, this is, you're going to have to do a lot of overtime. You got to do a lot, and you start thinking, well, I'm moving up, but you're not.
Deeper into the trench you go.
Yes. That's so important to understand, is that the amount of time, like the amount of focus, the amount of hours your mind is spent doing something you don't want to do, that's not going to fucking change unless you make it change. You're going to have to do something about that. And the more you commit to that and the more time spent doing that, the harder it's going to be to make those changes.
And you're going to start to cope.
Yes.
Outside of that.
That's where these kind of conversations are so valuable, because you have done some things you don't want to do anymore and you used to do them, and I have been the same way, and most people are that way. We're not born into this job. This is not something that was bestowed upon us by someone else. We crafted it, we figured it out, and through step by step, you go back and listen to my early podcasts, they're fucking terrible. You know, like if you went back and watched my early podcast and said, one day, this is going to be the biggest podcast in the known world. Like, the fuck are you talking about? This is horseshit. Exactly. And that's why it's out there still. I like the fact that they're out there.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I love the fact that it's still there. But another thing to consider is the fact that if people are succeeding, even slightly, in a job that they hate, think about how good you could be if it was something that you really, really cared about.
Right.
Think about how amazing you could be if you pursued something that you genuinely had existential simpatico with.
Right.
As opposed to something that you detest.
Yeah.
Or are just not that fussed about. If you're in the chasm of comfortable complacency, just how good could you be if this was something that you loved?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
It's just so hard for people to course correct. And it's so hard for people to have like sort of a top-down objective view of where they're going and what they're doing and how they're thinking and whether or not they like it. Most of the time, people need some sort of a catastrophic event, some kind of sort of a near-death experience or a life-changing event or a breakup or being fired or a psychedelic experience, like something that just blows the paradigm completely into a million pieces, and you're forced to look at it again.
There are opportunities, and there are people that reach out that have made huge changes in their lives. I'm sure you've seen them as well. Way, way, way into late life. There is no trench that's been dug so deep that you can't get yourself out of it.
Yes.
But it is easier the earlier that you do it.
That's way easier.
That's just a sad fact, that if you're able to nip something in the bud before it becomes too entrenched, before you have too many responsibilities that make it harder because you've got to keep on grinding in order at the shitty job that you don't like, while you've got to side hustle, while you've got to raise the kids, while you've got to pay the mortgage, while you've got to do all of the rest of the things and the adulting. It would be easier, but it's never going to be too late.
It's never too late. If you're alive, you can get better. If you're alive right now, you can improve your condition.